Greetings. Today, the moon, the mood of the day continues in dreamy, imaginative Pisces. We are connecting with a bigger spiritual picture. And we also have today a conjunction of Venus and Saturn in Pisces, and the moon will join up with them as well. So let's take a look at what it looks like for all three planets to join up in Pisces. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Thursday, April 24th. So Pisces, right? What is Pisces? Pisces is the great ocean of being. It is the energy of everything, the vibe of the transcendent. So when we have things here in our everyday lives, things that take shape, even human beings, right, that come into life for a period of time and then we leave, but there is a bigger spiritual picture. And so things that are tangible here in the earth plane come into being, they take form, they take shape, and then eventually they change, they transition, they move on, including ourselves, right? So when we're talking about Pisces, we are talking about that bigger picture of the spiritual, that bigger transcendent realm where there is no form, where it is about the interconnectedness of everything, where there is energy, spirit, soul, that bigger picture that does temporarily take shape here on the earth plane. And things like this, right, this little ceramic vase that's in my background, right, that is a beautiful example of a thing, right? It's an object that somebody made from some clay originally, right? It's a thing that took form, took shape, and someday it could smash on the ground, and hopefully not soon, but but right, it will move on. It will eventually transition back to before it came into being. And so Pisces has to do with that bigger realm of how things come into being and where they go, I suppose, when they dissolve, when they lose their form, when they no longer have a structure or a shape in this everyday world. So, the reason I'm really bringing your attention to this is because this triple conjunction today, the conjunction of Venus to Saturn and then the moon joining up with both, brings in that energy of the big picture, the spiritual, the transcendent, where we are as spirit beings, and where the bigger picture perhaps of our energy, our soul, our spirit exists beyond this lifetime. And then, of course, you have Saturn, and Saturn is the planet of structure, of form, of shape, of incarnation, if you will, right? It is the shape that things can take. It is the structure or the form that becomes tangible in the world. It becomes something we can see, taste, touch. It has a texture, it has something we can describe and understand. So we're bringing that energy of Pisces and how it embodies, how it incarnates that bigger spiritual picture with Saturn in Pisces. So Saturn stays in Pisces for about 2.5 years. It is about to, in May, go into Aries. So it will be shifting gears into that Aries energy of rebirth, renewal, new sense of self, new identity. But while it's still in Pisces, it brings in this sense of how we take something that is from the spiritual realm or the realm of dreams or imagination and make it tangible, begin to make it into something that we can see and describe and understand. So the energy of Saturn is really important here. And as Venus joins up with Saturn, we also have the energy of Venus. Venus is about aesthetics, beauty, values, things of value. So how we take our values and put them into form, how we bring them down to earth, how they take shape, how things that we find beautiful or things that make us feel good, help us feel pleasure, how we can put those into form. And so themes of how we make art, right? How we take a bigger something we can dream or imagine or a bigger connection to something spiritual, and we bring it into the material, we bring it into physical form. So these energies lining up today with the moon also activating to bring us into that place where we feel, where we can feel very deeply into what we care about, what we value, what brings beauty and pleasure into our lives, and find those pathways to bring that bigger picture of beauty, of value, of something we appreciate, something that is a gift in our lives, and how we can put that into something that can hold that bigger picture of spirit as a form, as something that is taking shape. So, what are you working on? What are you working on in your life? What are you, where are you getting hands on? What are you helping to move forward? What do you care about? And how are you bringing values into that? How are you bringing something that helps bring beauty and pleasure into your life, into what you're working on, what you're building, what you're getting hands on to, what you're creating? So it's hard sometimes to see always how these symbols show up in our lives, but when you think about these deeper qualities of the energy we have and what we are working with, you can be focusing on how you are bringing something of beauty, something of value, and putting it into shape, into form, helping it take shape, and helping things to grow and emerge in the world. And we're talking about the Aries energy, right? This Aries moon cycle that began with an Aries solar eclipse. Neptune, ruler of Pisces, now in Aries. So it's also about what are you creating? What are you starting? What are you becoming aware of that you are going to help move forward, help come into being? In other words, this is very creative energy, but it's also asking you to think big. Think bigger picture, think about what you really want, what is the ultimate value, what are your personal values, and how are those getting put into what you are working on, what you are contributing to, what you are helping to move forward. So we have this opportunity to connect with that bigger picture as we think about what our individual roles might be in that. So what are you creating? How are you bringing beauty and value and a bigger spiritual picture into the work you're doing? Even if it's, boring everyday work, there might be something for you to think about today in terms of how to make it meaningful, valuable, have that sense of a bigger picture of something that feels important and is meaningful, right? Connecting to your heart. Yesterday, we were talking about self-care for your spirit, right? Spiritual self-care for a dreamy Pisces moon. So thinking about your own spiritual needs and how you can put that energy into whatever it is you are doing in your life. Maybe you're having a boring, ordinary, everyday day. How can you liven it up with a little bit of beauty or heart or thinking about the bigger picture of what you value and what's important to you. Maybe you're not having an ordinary, boring day. Maybe some things are moving and shaking in your life. And so think about it from that perspective. How can you open to what are the gifts? What is the beauty in this moment? What is the beauty that is coming through, perhaps from a spiritual realm? So those are my thoughts for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget to check out my new member site. I've got some content that can just take you deeper, some written articles and information that can be what's the word, complement what I'm doing here. And so I think you will really enjoy it. I would love to have you join at either the free or the paid level, and I'm going to keep working on putting stuff in there, so let me know what you want to see. I would love to hear from you, and thank you for being here. So the link to that is in the description for this video. Just click more to see the text and see the link that will show you where to go to sign up either at the free or the paid level. Thanks for being here and subscribing to this YouTube channel. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.